Viewer discretion is advised. Your fave will be criticized.
That's Chris.
That's Shan.
And welcome to CCTV, the nonstop pop show.
And today, we are joining in the celebrations for the 25th anniversary of the Spice Girls and reviewing their debut album, Spice. If this is your first time joining us here at CCTV, Shan and I have a huge range of experience in the music industry, from performing on stage and recording in the studio to working with artist management and record labels. So we analyze artists and their discographies from both the creative and business angles.
So if you didn't know already, the Spice Girls are the best-selling girl group of all time, and we are going to be talking about them. But before we get started, make sure you click that subscription button and turn on that notification bell so that you can get all the updates when we post videos like this, because this is not our first Spice Girls video and it definitely will not be our last. Okay, so we've gotten a lot of requests for Spice content, so we're excited to deep dive into their debut album.
Yes.
Spice is the Spice Girls' debut album and was released in September 1996. The group's goal was to spread the idea of girl power, baby, a term that celebrates and encourages female empowerment and confidence.
Yes, and in an industry that was largely controlled by men, both behind the scenes and in the charts, the Spice Girls started a revolution and helped usher in an era of amazing pop music with amazing female pop stars. Yes. So we will now go track by track and discuss the production, vocals, videos, and lyrics, and give our ratings for each song. So here we go. Track by track.
Woo! First track on this album is Wannabe. Written by the Spice Girls, Richard Stannard and Matt Rowe, the song was inspired by Summer Nights from Greece. This confident track was written in less than an hour, and it has been noted that Victoria was not present for the sessions and therefore ended up passing notes through a freaking call on the phone. Oh gosh. But when it came to divide the lines, the girls didn't leave any for Victoria. So that is why she's only singing backing vocals on this track, which I must say is lame. I just think back to Hamilton. I was like, I want to be in the room where it happens. The room where and she wasn't. Sorry, Victoria, which stinks, because she's fly.
Also, it's now haunted her. Like, everyone's like, oh, the Victoria's the one that can't sing. And it's all just because she doesn't have a line in the song. But she has lines in every other song. So it's very annoying. But
you are so right. Oh my God. Yeah. Dang it, that sucks. That's probably where, yep, you're right. That's where it stems from. But hearing the now released demo compared to this finished track is definitely fun. I really wonder if they knew they had it. Like you got the juice. You know it. Like, I wonder if they were sitting there and they were like, "Yo, girls, this is a smash record. It's gonna be a hit record." Like
it's a hit. It's a hit.
Bloody hit.
No, so actually, I believe the record label did not want this to be the first single. I think they wanted "Say You'll Be There" or "Love Thing." And the Spice Girls were pushing for "Wannabe" instead. So yeah,
with good reason. They have sense. They had the sense. I know the label was like, "Oh, it needs to be more urbane." I'm not gonna say urban because it needs to be more urbane. So they sent the track toward Dave Way, right, who gave like an R&B twist to it. But I have to say, honestly, even if I had not heard "Wannabe" and had like such a bond with it, I don't think I would have liked it as much. It just sounds very just like generic. Sounds very like meh.
Yeah, it takes the fun out of it. It takes some of the fun out of it. And that drum track, it's like way too loud. It's just, the Dave Way version's not great. It's fun to listen to it just to compare it, but.
Right, but it's not what it should have been the first, or I'm glad they ignored the label, because this song is a little cheesy, but not in a bad way where it's like, oh my God, this is so cringeworthy. But it's just like, I'm trying to zig a zig. What the heck is a zig? It does not need something like,
yeah.
Get out of here. But what are your thoughts about the track?
I mean, it's iconic. It's amazing. I will say it's not my favorite Spice Girls song, and it does annoy me a little bit that it is the one that everyone refers to as the Spice Girls song, because I don't think it's their best. But at the end of the day, it's super fun. It's very silly. Like the energy that exudes from it is just insane. And so it's so good. And I think from listening to it kind of or in more deeply with more
Yeah.
analytical, mindset. The vocal production on this is so good. Like, I don't know if I fully appreciated that. Like, the depth in the chorus is really, really
If
good.
you want to be my lover, who's ever on that low, honey, my soul belongs to you. Okay?
Yes.
The altos got love.
That might be Victoria, actually.
Yeah, she held it down. It was really good. Yeah, you're right. I agree.
Yeah.
So much so.
Also, just on that note, like,
Yeah.
so I think it's interesting because Mel B, Jerry, and Victoria, depending on the song, they all do the lower tones, and like low notes in general are actually emphasized and used quite well throughout all of the Spice Girls discography.
Yeah.
And that's not the case for most girl groups. So I appreciate it even more now. Yeah.
Yes, for sure. For sure. It's sorely lacking. And kudos to the production, because dan 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 dan. Like, everyone knows, like, you don't even need to hear the words. It's iconic for sure. Debut song right out the gate, like instant classic that now we're using it for like feminist movements and such. It's amazing. And even the video, people have recreated it constantly. I mean, look at my top. We're going for the green today.
Yes.
But yes. What did you think about the video?
I love the video. I mean, first off, I have been to the hotel. I made it a point to go when I was in London. And I've been multiple times. Every time I've gone to London now, I pretty much always go to that hotel and just have to go on that staircase,
Oh my God. I'm kind of jealous.
Yeah. But anyway, I think it's such a fun video. They were trying to capture this idea of them just barging in somewhere they didn't belong, in quotes, and just completely take over and just kind of invade the space with their energy, which they had done that previously, like at record labels, for potential producers, for potential managers. So I love that they just recreated that. Like, it's just them barging into this fancy hotel, just messing up their whole little soiree or whatever that's going on there. And it's super fun. And they did such a good job with this kind of seamless, continuous thing. I believe there's one or two edits in there, but you can't really tell. So
it was clean for sure. Super clean. Such a fun video. The chemistry was evident. Beauty was present and talent was undeniable. I mean, from from them walking in, just dancing, and freaking Mel B with her zig eye legs, and freaking Mel C coming through with a backhand spring on a table. I remember watching like a behind the scene or something, like she was trying to figure out how she's going to do it, which I think is fun because it's like, that's bold. You're on this table. I'm gonna throw it back, but not in the way you think. I respect it. You can totally see their personalities and their styles, without a doubt.
Yeah, and I love that the names actually, like, they didn't have their Spice names yet at this point. This is totally just them, like, doing, like, wearing whatever they want, which I love. And they did recreate these outfits for the performance in the 2019 tour, which was awesome. Like, to see them up close wearing those costumes, it's like that was pretty amazing. So
lucky you.
All right, so what do you rate this song?
Unfortunately, even though I really like this song, I have to give it a 10.
I also have to give this a 10. So the second track on the album and the second single was Say You'll Be There, which was written by the Spice Girls and Elliot Kennedy. And this is an R&B tinged track about being there for the people that you care about. And I think this may be my favorite Spice Girls song ever. There's a few in contention there, but this one's definitely up there. I just think it's a perfect pop song. Agreed.
Yeah. Wow, look at you. No, I feel the same way. It's definitely one of my favorite ones by them. And I remember watching the Spice World movie and this being one that really stood out to me. If I'm not mistaken, weren't they performing like Mel B had like a space suit on? Yeah. Yes. And I thought it was the coolest thing because she had Bantu knots and everything. And I was like, who's the black one? Because I did not know Wannabe came from them. So I heard it in Small Soldiers. Didn't know it was them. Saw Spice World because I stole my friend's cassette. And that's how I saw her. And I was like, oh my God, the black, she looks like me. So yeah, I definitely had like a very, 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 very soft spot for this song in my heart.
Nice. Yes. But yeah, I think the production is so good. This is another one that if you have good headphones in, you can actually really notice a lot of interesting things. Like there's a funky guitar that only comes in like a little bit. And it's on the right. So just FYI, if you listen to it,
to the right only.
Yeah. And I think the general build is really good. Like the way it changes for Victoria's part, and then even the way they kind of had the ad libs grow throughout the song, from Emma's kind of more minimal ad libs up till Mel C's closing yelling, which Mel C's one of my favorite ad libs ever.
Yeah.
And I have to sing that, you know, whenever that comes on. So yeah, just a perfect song. Also, I think it's the best use of a harmonica in a pop song I've ever heard. Yes.
He went off. When I think of harmonicas, excuse me, I think of Isn't She Lovely with Stevie Wonder. And as a testament to what you were saying, you said what everyone was thinking. It's a damn good song. And that ad lib, like at karaoke, there is no way anyone in that room can keep singing the chorus without going, yes, I swear. Like
exactly.
no one's gonna let that walk by, you know? But yeah, the song is tight. Like taking it back to the 90s. Wow. But yeah, no, the song is tight. Okay. That G-funk synth right in the beginning, the kind of gives a little bit of a gangster feel. You're like, oh, snap, what they know about G-funk in the UK, you know? So I think it's brilliant. The beginning sounds really sweet with the Rhodes piano. You can kind of hear people, like a sample of people kind of talking in the background before the record scratch, and then bam, there's the fun. So yeah, I think the song has a lot of fun elements. It builds tension. It builds, maybe not tension, but it definitely sets a scene. You hear the Rhodes, that record scratch, and the G-funk. You're already getting into it. It lets you really get invested, build your curiosity, and then the vocals come in and you're like, wow, amazing. But speaking of the vocals, that's all I paid attention to, apparently, as a child, because I never knew what the song was about. I was like, okay, was it lovers that were better off as friends, but then one keeps catching feelings and then it's continuously wishy-washy? Like, let's keep being good friends, but let's like not ruin it with like the L word. It's like, I'll be your greatest friend, but we can't go past that. Like, that's what I thought. Like, just say you'll be there for me. And then maybe, like, if you stop being the waste man that you usually are, then maybe I'll consider, like, you just say you'll be there, prove it. And then, like, that's the kind of thing, like, looking at it now and I listen to it, I get from it. But like you said, when I was younger, I had that general sense where it's just like, just be fair for each other. Yeah, you know. But that aside, that video, honey. Oh my God, that video is great. I was like, I guess I was into that, the whole Charlie's Angels wave. And then it gave me very much like Tarantino films. And there's like this old movie called Faster Pussycat Kill. It's like really just like, yeah. It gave me that energy. You know, of course they look like spies, but because it was in the desert, it just gave me very much like, you know.
Yes, I think they list that movie and then also Pulp Fiction as like inspiration. Okay. So yeah, that totally makes sense. But yeah, this was, it's such a good video. And it's also I love that it's so different from Wannabe, where Wannabe was like, like these, like, you know, next door neighbor girls, super normal and fun. And then you have this one where they're very slick and they look very cool and their hair is really big. And I love all the superhero names. They're very silly. Like they're still not taking themselves too seriously. Like I think this wouldn't have worked if they suddenly were very serious and were like, wow. But like this one, you could tell they're just like having fun still. Yeah. So that's why I think it works. But yeah, such a good video.
So fun. They're so groovy. Like, oh my gosh. Like if I had a friend group, like a group of like 5 girls, I would want to like recreate any of their looks, but like definitely some of the looks from this video, like Ginger's hair. Fabulous, honey. All
right. So what do you rate Say You'll Be There?
Okay. So even though it's like really like deep in my heart, I had to be fair. I give it a 10.
I also give this a 10. I mean, here's the thing. Like I said, it's one of my favorites of their songs and they're my favorite. So it's probably one of my favorite songs ever, really. So I've tried really hard to be as objective as possible during this, but just this will not be the last 10.
Anyway, on to the next track. Third track and single from Spice is Two become one. Written by the Spice Girls, Richard Stannard and Matt Rowe, it is a romantic ballad that was inspired by the relationship that Jerry and writer Matt Rowe were developing at the time. Ooh. Hashtag scandalous, hashtag spicy. It should also be noted that the single version has Victoria singing in the second verse instead of Jerry, and they changed the lyrics slightly from boys and girls feel good together to love will bring us back together to honor many of their LGBTQ fans. So yeah, this song, the lyrics are they make me giggle a little bit. Because Emma has the most scandalous ones where she's like, "Are you as good as I remember?" And be a little bit wiser, baby. Put it on, put it on. Me and my friend always tease that part because it's so funny because she looks at the camera or it's just like, you know what I'm talking about, you know? She looks like an angel, but like a dirty angel, you know? It makes me giggle a little bit. I appreciate the confidence, the analogies, and the promotion of safe sex, but the lyrics were a little bit cheesy in some of the sections. But it doesn't mean that they were bad. They're just a little bit like light FM. Let's make love, you know, it's just.
Yeah, but I think you have to transfer yourself back to that time period, right? Like it was very normal to have these very cheesy ballads. Like that was just a thing. And I kind of missed that actually.
I love the strings of the song though. Like all that aside, all that little silliness I was talking about aside, the violins, guitars, they really guided the track past the body roll inducing bass lines and percussion. Because if you listen to it, it's like right, and then you hear the strings come in. I sound ridiculous, but the strings add the passion behind the sensuality and make it more about making love and not like, oh let's just make toaster strudel, if you catch my drift, you know? So I definitely appreciate that. That's what made it beautiful, the strings, for sure.
Yes, I agree. That really added to like the romance of it, I guess.
Yeah.
First off, shout out to Mel B in this track. I've mentioned in a past video how I think her tone is really beautiful when she uses this kind of more mixed, delicate part of her voice. And so, yeah, I think she just sounds amazing in this. And I think the chorus, it's a really interesting chorus. It's arranged really well with kind of, they never sing as a full group really in this song. Like they pair off in duos, basically. Yeah. And I just think the way that they wrote the chorus is just really beautiful and very unique. And then like you said, the strings, especially the outro. I love the outro of this song. I think it's so cool. It just has a completely different vibe to it because of the way they did the strings. And also I don't normally love fade outs. Like I like a hard stop to a song usually.
A button. Yeah. It's called.
And part of that comes from being a dancer because it's always annoying to mix music when it fades out. Anyway, in this case though, I actually think it was very effective the way it fades out and the way they did the whole outro. So just wanted to shout that out.
Yes, that that is definitely the, like, you know, we're laying down in bed. That's the pillow talk and outro. I'll call it the pillow talk outro. I have to say around this time when I was younger, I think I did actually see this video. And I did see S Club 7's video. So I used to accidentally mix the two because like the way the video looked was very similar, very like nighttime or cold in the wintertime. But yeah, the video, now that I know the difference, was interesting to say the least, because there's a lot of green screen.
I mean, it was fully green screen.
But I guess it's okay because now when I look back at videos or even some movies from back in the day, that whole like fast forward background while people are walking slow forward, you know, sign of the times. So I don't mind it as much, but yeah. What do you think about the video?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is very dated now. Looking back, you could just tell it's a green screen, and like it doesn't, like it just doesn't match with the way they're walking and like where they're sitting and all that. But you know, we live in New York, so I appreciate that the video is based in New York. And I think because they're in like winter coats, right, in this video. So I always just think of winter for this song. And it was like the Christmas #1 in the UK in 96 as well. So yeah, so it just makes me think of winter, even though it's like not a winter song, but yeah.
All that being said, what is your rating for this track?
I have to also give this one a 10 out of 10. It's awesome.
Oh my goodness. I will give it a 9 only because of the lyrics. Yeah, only because of the lyrics. Only because of the lyrics. Because like I said it. I already said what I had to say. I just think they have stronger lyrics, even with some of the obviously cheesier tracks, or even with the other ballads. The lyrics are a little bit stronger. So, just a little point, maybe a 9.5. I won't be that mean. 9.5. 9.5.
The fourth track is Love Thing, which is written by the Spice Girls, Elliot Kennedy and Carrie Bayless. And this is a fun track about not being in the mood for love and relationships and the power of friendship. So this is the first non-single that we've listened to so far. And I love this one. It should have been a single. They should, honestly, all these songs could have been a single, but this one especially. I enjoy how sassy this track is. I think this one just exudes girl power. It's very confident, and it sounds so 90s, and I love it.
Yeah. It sounds so 90s, and I love it. Yeah, I think I agree. The New Jack Swing is definitely evident, and it really just it gets me, because it's like they had this song on this album, and then like two albums later they're doing Forever and working with some of the pioneers, Terry Jam and Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, so it's just like, wow, full circle. I love that it's New Jack Swing. I love the funkiness of it. I love the strings going he. I sound like a murderer, but the song was a killer. So, hey, it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely super fun. The bass is just so cool. I like songs like this that have the funk, that has the swag necessary to carry, and the girls sound great on top of it. The vocal arrangement for the ad-libs and the chorus are absolutely delectable. Okay, full of harmonies. And like as I've gotten older, and as I've written more, I'm trying to incorporate more, trying to figure out how to stack vocals like this, because it's sorely lacking. And I think a lot of people, especially like solo groups, because girl groups aren't a thing in America as much, but even if you're like a solo artist, stack these vocals, okay? Like it just sounds good. First of all, it just takes you to a different place when you're listening to the song. And while you're performing live, you can shut your mouth and let your background singers do their thing. It's just more fun. It's just more fun that way. And I know that the song is pop essentially, but it's R&B for sure. And that's another reason why I don't understand why the Forever album did not have more of this.
Yes.
You feel me?
Yes, I agree.
I digress. What about you?
Yeah. Well, before I get more into it, if you haven't listened to Shan's song, Here I Am, go check that out. It has a lot of stacked vocals in it. Anyway, so yeah, back to what you were saying about the vocal arrangement. I have to say the vocal distribution in this is an amazing example for a girl group.
Yeah.
They all sound awesome. They all get a chance to shine. They all sound awesome because each part completely fits their voices. There's moments of like just pure solos. There's a lot of backing vocals. There's back and forth, like Mel B and Jerry's constant back and forth throughout the song. Yes. Yeah. So I love the vocal arrangement in this. And this was one of the tracks that they performed at the 2019 tour where really felt Victoria missing. And that just shows, because it was arranged so well and so perfectly. It felt wrong that she wasn't there to sing her parts. Right. And yeah, I also have to say, shout out to Simon Ellis, who was their music director for the first tour in 98, because the live band version of this song is amazing. It's so good. Sure. It adds so much percussion. It adds even more energy, more funk into it. So have to shout out that version. The version from Istanbul is on streaming. So
Istanbul,
go listen to it if you haven't heard it.
Istanbul's a good show.
Yes.
You know what? The only thing I think about from Istanbul is Jerry looking like Ursula at the end of the Little Mermaid movie. Not in a bad way, but that crown, the way it was going backwards, and the way she looks regal as hell. But that crown was going backwards. I was like, oh, she kind of looks like Ursula. But it's not a bad thing. I'm not saying she's an evil witch. She just looks like that. You know that.
Yes.
But yes. So what do you rate the song?
This is also a 10 out of 10 for me. How about you?
Shame on you. Shame on you. I'm joking. Shan Spice gives this a 10 as well, because the song's good. It's freaking good. The fifth track on the Spice album is Last Time Lover, written by the Spice Girls, Andy Watkins, and Paul Wilson. This sexy track kind of sounds a little bit like an instruction manual for a cowboy's first rodeo. Ooh, baby, baby, yeehaw. Okay. So First Time Lover could actually be heard in the demo version, excuse me, which led me to believe that the song is about approaching a man that could be, a bit of a virgin. That earlier thing I said, it was like a Freudian slip for sure. But yeah, I mean, think about it. Even the lyrics is like kind of, could it be your first time? Maybe. And then the second verse leads into this whole instruction where it's just like, you got to do this, like the bass line, ride it kind of dirty and go up and down. And then at the end of it, it's like, essentially, she's like, you're doing too much. Stop. So I think that's interesting that the song kind of has this message behind it. I could be wrong, but if not, I'm glad I discovered it because I was like, oh my God, is this not what I think it is? This is the only album track from Spice that has not been performed live from this album, which I believe is absolute sacrilege and blasphemy because it's actually really good. It's sexy. And again, it's another R&B song that I think is just, forever why. But that being said, I have to just give Mel Boz some props because she was holding it down in that verse. Okay. The TLC presence was definitely felt, but not in a bad way, because these girls have highs and lows and have stronger vocalists than what's present in TLC. No offense to TLC, I'm just saying they have more vocalists. But yeah, Mel Boz is holding it down. She is so freaking cool. And this is another testament to her range. We've gotten the sweet sultriness on Two Become One. We've gotten the shouting on Wannabe that people only know her for. And then we also have this very low range here in Last Time Lover. I'm killing myself doing this. But like we mentioned in our Black Women in Pop and our Pop Off videos, she is capable. Okay. Yes. Yeah, that's all I got to say about that right now. But what about you? What do you think?
Yeah. I love Mel B's Lower Register. This sounds great. Yeah, I think also like this is a very, very sexy song. And that's why when people kept talking about Feed Your Love, I was if they're saying Feed Your Love is even dirtier than this, like what is that could be bad? That's why I was so disappointed. So if you haven't seen our review of Feed Your Love, check that out. But
yes,
anyway,
the apple pie.
Definitely this song. I didn't love it when I was a kid. I didn't fully understand it clearly as an 8-year-old or 7-year-old. And so yeah, this is one that has grown on me a lot as I've gotten older. I appreciate the bass a lot more. I appreciate the groove that it has. And I think it gives it's just a different side to the girls, and it adds a lot of dimension to the album as a project as a whole. And yeah, I think the sass and confidence that comes from it is just so good. I love Emma and Jerry's little sassy little, their lines in the chorus are great. And Jerry's rap, that little.
Oh my God, yes.
So good. I love this like weird accent that she had. I don't even know how to like describe it. This kind of like nasally, like sassy, weird accent that she puts on.
Yeah, I can't. I'm never going to try to repeat it. We've all known how that turned out the last time I did it. She is that biche. Okay. She is that apple pie. The apple pie that she was talking about in Feed Your Love has gotten nothing on this baby right here. She was holding it down. Okay. The confidence oozes from this track for sure. And the horn in this song makes it jazzy, but not too much so where it's like, why is there a freaking horn there? It was just little moments of it coming in and out. And I appreciate that for sure. So yeah.
Yes. I also have to note that even though the chorus does repeat quite a lot at the end, each time it comes past it, they add one more thing to it. There's another layer, so it keeps it interesting. Unlike if you want to have some fun, which
are you having fun? Are you having fun? Are you having fun? Over and over. I was like, oh my God, shut up.
Yeah, this one was the build in this one was a lot better. So yeah. All right. So what do you rate this song?
Okay. Because it just gave me too much TLC and not enough Spice. I'm joking. That's just like seeing your face. I give this one actually like a 9 out of 10 for sure. A 9 out of 10.
This one also gets a 9 out of 10 from me.
I actually I want to recant my statement earlier. I'm simp Spice over here. This album's good and the song is good. Mel Boz gave this song a 10. Okay. 10 out of 10.
Okay. Mama is the sixth track on the Spice album, and it was released as the fourth single from the album with Who Do You Think You Are as a double A side. And this song was written by the Spice Girls, Richard Stannard and Matt Rowe, and it is a sentimental mid-tempo track inspired by Mel B and kind of the tumultuous relationship that she had with her mother, and how as you get older, you appreciate your mom more and realize that she always had your best interests at heart. And yeah, I love this song. It should be on every Mother's Day playlist, I think. But yeah, I think the lyrics are really beautiful. And I think the production really captures the emotion perfectly.
This song is sweet and sentimental, so I appreciate it. But like personally for me, I have a dislike for tribute songs. I don't know what that is. I'm just very much like, I don't like putting my emotions about my family or friends like out there. So cold. So I'm not like completely moved. I can objectively say I can understand the sentiment and things like that. But it's just for me, I'm always like, oh, so cringy.
Too cheesy for you?
Yeah. I am that kind of person. The acoustic guitar is cool, and I love the gospel-esque chorus toward the end. It makes it feel very much like you have a mother, we all have mother. It feels like, I know that sounds a little like I'm being facetious, but it does have that kind of energy. So I appreciate it. I don't dislike the song. It's just for me, it wouldn't be something that I could relate to, because I do appreciate my mother, but I just don't think like sappy songs. I think more like something a little bit more upbeat. You feel me?
Okay, yes, fair.
Yeah.
I do want to shout out Victoria in this track because I think this song is a great showcase of her lower backing vocals and like that tone that she has. And it's actually the single version of the song has a slightly different mix, and they actually push up her backing vocals more. Good. And actually the choir as well. So the choir actually is emphasized in the single version. And I just think, again, Victoria is just so underrated as a vocalist, and this shows how much depth that she brought to their songs, and another moment in the 2019 tour where I could feel her missing from that pre-chorus.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. And yeah, I agree. This isn't my favorite song of theirs. I did question it as a single choice since this album is just so good. I didn't really agree with that. But again, as I've gotten older, I appreciate that it did kind of showcase them to a different audience, right? It did kind of appeal to a more adult contemporary kind of feel.
That's what it is.
So I appreciate that it kind of just shows the breadth of their writing abilities.
Agree.
What did you think of the music video?
I thought it was brilliant how Victoria was in a bikini top with them kids in the video. I was like, go ahead, girl. Oh god. But all that aside, I even trying to like, be that person. I think the video is sweet. It was funny with her mom's like standing up and waving in the crowd.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see like childhood photos of people that you respect. So it's nice to look at that video and see them as young girls, and then see like a little mini me version of the Spice Girls in the video. So that was cute. But I don't know why it was it like a televised audience kind of thing? It just felt like a sitcom.
I think that's just what they wanted to make it look like. Yeah.
It was a little, that was a little like, okay, I guess. But
yeah.
What did you think?
I mean, it's fine. I mean, it's cute. Yeah. Like I like the parts of with their moms in the audience and their moms holding their portraits and that kind of thing. I didn't love the mini-me's. I thought that was a little weird because they didn't know each other as children. So like, so like I didn't agree with that. Right. I just thought that footage was weird. Like, who are these 5 little girls that are dressing up as them? I don't know. It just didn't really match the concept for me. Like, I think I would have preferred just more footage of them with their moms.
Yeah, that, or at least maybe like a storyline where there is a mother and a daughter depicting the relationship that was being sung about, and then maybe the Spice Girls being like the Greek chorus talking about, that would be a little bit more understandable than the sitcom situation, because I didn't understand the video.
Yeah, I mean, clearly it wasn't like, it was probably just a very easy video for them to film. I think by this point they were so busy. It was just like, we only have like 10 hours to do this. Like, just find a studio, like, so that's it did kind of feel like that. And I'm sure because it was a double A-side single, their video budget was split between the 2 songs, right? So not my favorite Spice Girls music video.
But would you rank the song itself?
So I was gonna go for an 8.5, but I'm gonna bump it up to a 9 actually, because I think now that the Spice Girls have grown up and they have their own children, and they've performed this song on stage with their children and with their moms, and it's just like a really beautiful moment. So I've grown to appreciate this song a lot more. How about you?
I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. Seventh on the album is Who Do You Think You Are? Written by the Spice Girls, Andy Watkins and Paul Wilson. This is a disco-y dance track inspired by people in the music industry that get too caught up in the fame and let their egos blow all the way up. And the girls are asking, like, who do you think you are? Okay. Like, take it down a couple notches. All right. I appreciate that because there are not a lot of songs that call out fellow artists. Not as much unless it's like a diss track. But I also have to mention that you can't hear this song and not think of the iconic Brit Awards 1997 performance where Jerry wore her infamous Union Jack dress, which she kind of talked about in like a Vogue. Was it the Vogue interview?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, oh gosh, she's effortless, but look what happened, I first heard the song when I was 14 at my dance studio. One of the other choreographers made a dance to the song with the little girls, and it was so cute, and it kind of embodied like the girls' self-esteem, and like they were looking at each other like, who do you think you are? And then they became who they wanted to be when they grew up. They were embodying the character at the end of the dance of like who they wanted to be. And I was like, oh, this is so cute. The song is great. It is absolutely great. There's horns, there's a groove, there's the sweetener vocals, the who do you think you are? I'm like, oh, Mel C is a queen on this track. Absolute queen. And I love her ending with the like, oh my God. I freak out every single time. Yes. Like, I never knew the words as a kid, but as I got older, I still don't know the words, but I know that part.
Yes. Oh man, this song is so good. I actually remember it being especially one of my favorites, like as a kid too. Yeah, just that whole disco influence. Like, I love disco, clearly. So yeah, it's great. And yeah, I agree. The horns are so good. I love the piano that kind of leads it, and just the various sparkles and things that kind of come through it. The whole production is very dynamic. And I always hear different things when I listen to it. I did get to choreograph to this track with my friend AJ.
That's right.
We performed with my dance crew at Boston Pride a few years ago, and we included this one. And yeah, I'm very proud that I got to perform to this song to thousands of people.
Nice boys.
Yeah. And again, I think this is just a great example of girl group vocal distribution. Every girl gets her lines. Yeah. There's harmonies. There's layers. The blend is so good.
Right.
We don't get this anymore.
Not at all. No. Like, oh God, it's such a shame. And it's a testament to what you said during our Blueprint, like BET, the Encore Blueprint review. If you haven't seen it, definitely watch it. Chris has some very good points about how if you are a good writer, you will try to figure out whose voices sound good where. And it's true. You have a group with 5 girls and this good vocal distribution, you can write a dang song. They can write a song. They know each other and trust each other to carry the song through. But I have to tell you, even though I've listened to the song like countless times and like kind of had a little moment, I've never actually seen the music video like up until like recently. So like for this video that we're filming right now, I had never seen it. So give me a thumbs up for sympathy because I've never seen this video.
To be fair, you are first off, you're younger, but also you're American, and this song was not released as a single in America.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So where was it released as a single?
Everywhere else. So America was later. So when we get to the Spice Girls 101 and we actually talk about kind of their career trajectory, we'll get more into kind of the timing of it. But they did release in the US later than everywhere else. So basically, when they hit Spice Up Your Life for the next album, they had to kind of skip over the rest of the singles. So they had released Two Become One in the US and then skip to Spice Up Your Life in the US. Yeah.
We are so behind on it.
But we'll get into it. If you guys want a 101 where we actually talk about the career trajectory, we'll get into that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yes, leave a comment, and if you have made it this far into the video, first of all, you're awesome for sticking with the CCTV crew. And also just subscribe at this point because we're always a good time and you want to have more good times, of course. And speaking of good times, they definitely had a good time in this video. Were they in like a fun house, like an inflatable fun house? I don't
I
know,
don't think so.
but
I think it was just a club, right?
the video, it just looks very like inflatable, like
Yeah.
walls and stuff,
Yeah.
and certain things. It just looks really cute. Now that I know the video. But yeah, it was probably like one of their like less structured where it's like we need to have choreography and we're dancing and there's a theme and there's a storyline, and because of that it just came across as more authentic, which ties more into the whole theme of the song. It was fun.
Yes,
It's
just
definitely
super,
fun.
super fun. I loved all like the people doing the weird tricks, like that person with the flames on the thing on the hand,
Oof,
and like all
yes.
like the things going on, all the weird outfits and stuff.
Yes.
So the single was actually released for Comic Relief as the official Comic Relief single of 1997. And so there is actually a version of the music video that features 5 iconic British female comedians dressed as the Sugar Lumps, which is basically their caricature of the Spice Girls. And they did a really, really good job. And that's also just a really fun version of the
Sugar
video.
lumps.
But yeah, so the Spice Girls have actually been involved with Red Nose Day and Comic Relief since then as well. I'm wearing Victoria's official Red Nose Day t-shirt. So yeah, so it's just awesome that they were able to now use their exposure to get with charities and help the world, which is awesome.
Right.
So yeah. Anyway, what do you rate the song?
Oh God. All right, Sim Spice is back again. I'm going to have to just give this one a 10 because disco wise, funk wise, R&B, pop, it's just, honey, 10 out of 10 across the board. What about you?
This is for sure a 10.
Yeah, undeniably
Yeah.
so.
The 8th track on the Spice album is Something Kind of Funny, which is written by the Spice Girls, Andy Watkins, and Paul Wilson. And this is a fun track led by a funky bass line written about the relationship between the group members and how they just have something very special when they're together. Oh, and yes, I know I've just been fanboying this entire time, but I love this song. I think it's criminally underrated in their discography. People often forget about it, but it's so funky and feel good. And even though the chorus is very simple, but they sound so good and it's just fun to sing along to. So yeah, absolutely love this song. What do you think?
This song actually sounds very similar to American duo Janae's song, Hey, Hey, Mr. DJ. It's like, hey, DJ, keep playing this song all night, on and on and on. It has the same kind of like, dun, 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 dun. It's just very, hang on.
I hear it. The bass line.
Yeah. And due to YouTube's copyright things, we're not trying to get struck. So be sure to definitely listen to Janae's Hey, Mr. DJ, comparatively to Something Kinda Funny. All right. Because they're both great songs. And I do enjoy this song because of that. There was that familiarity, but because it's the Spice Girls and it came how many years later, it has a brighter sound. It's a little bit more poppy. Their voices float on top of the production and they sound great. They sound like little angels with with some funk in them, and I enjoy that. I really do enjoy it. Mel C's little ad-libs here and there were great. She has such an interesting tone. Like, I don't know how to describe her voice. If I were to tell someone, oh yeah, she sounds like Mel C, that's what she sounds like.
Yes,
Done.
yes.
So I love songs about their chemistry, and this song was definitely a good addition to that.
Yeah, I think the two Mels sound so good. They lead the verses through this, and I love that little bridge breakdown that they do. And then also shout out to Emma. I love her ad libs at the end. I think she has a really interesting tone too. It's very angelic and a little more innocent.
Yes,
but then mixed with the other 4 girls, kind of thicker tones, and then also singing these kind of more mature lyrics. It's just kind of an interesting,
right.
I don't know. It's just interesting. She just adds a lot of depth and to them as a group vocally.
I agree.
And yeah, this was another one of my favorite. I know I keep mentioning the 2019 tour, but it was like one of the best moments of my life. And this was one of my favorite moments. They recreated the Spice ring that's on the album cover on the stage, and it was just the 4 of them just sitting together and just vibing together and having fun. And yeah, it was just a really, really great moment in that show. So yeah.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah,
that's
so
awesome.
I give this one a 9.5. How about you?
I'm going to match your scoring and also give it a 9.5. Naked is the 9th track on the Spice album, written by the Spice Girls, Andy Watkins and Paul Wilson. It is a haunting track about vulnerability, and it is absolutely probably one of the most unexpected tracks from them when I was doing the deep dive back into them, because we are used to them doing pop sounds. We are used to them being so bright and exuberant. This is dark. This is moody. This is ethereal even. So I was not expecting this, especially when you and I were watching Wembley. We were watching it there, and I thought, wow, they ain't got no clothes on. And then, they were sitting at the chair, and I thought, oh my gosh, I didn't see the Istanbul performance with that weird freaking bear monster. What?
I feel like that might actually be in the Spice World tour too.
Did I just not notice?
Maybe, yeah.
Oh my God, that thing is terrible. But I will sorry. I will say, even with the weird monster of Istanbul, that chair situation was iconic, because it first of all made me like really pay attention to the song. I'm like, why are these girls sing without clothes on, even though they had clothes on? But the whole concept was inspired by the famous 1963 photo by Christine Keeler, a famous model. And hello, that's amazing. Taking this very like risque at the time photograph and giving it to this group who are full of grown women talking about being vulnerable. So I appreciate that for sure. What about you?
Yeah, this is another one that I appreciate so much more now that I'm older. I don't think this song fully clicked with me until I saw them perform it. I actually remember watching the Istanbul concert on pay-per-view at my friend's house. And I remember this song, the band sounds amazing. And I think they like the emotion really came out, I think, when they sang it live. And I think this one does reflect how mature they actually were. I think it's interesting because now we're used to like when pop stars debut, they're like in their teens, sometimes even in their tweens. And it's hard to remember that the Spice Girls were actually all in their 20s, like already, like when they debuted,
right?
Like from
it was grown.
Yeah, they had an extra level of life experience already, right? And I think this song reflects that. And when people always, when people dismiss the Spice Girls because they've only heard Wannabe, like, I think this is one of those songs that actually does show that they were looking deeper. Like they were really great songwriters. And I think this is just a great example of that. And Mel C, that bridge, she sounds great.
Yeah, yes. I agree. I will say though, when I heard the recording of it, she does like this, she doesn't have to do it because her voice is already powerful. So it did turn me off at first. When I watch it live, she delivers the vocals a lot better, in my opinion. Come from me in the comments if you want. It's fine, whatever. But make sure you give us a like too. But yeah, all that aside though, jokes aside, I appreciate it a little bit more when the bridge comes along. And I think the message of the song is great. I feel like I'm in a cafe listening to like a spoken word performance. Jerry's coming in talking kind of slow, and and the song isn't about sex, even though they're kind of naked, and you're thinking, oh, the song's naked, they about to get nasty, and it's not nasty. So I definitely appreciate that. And shout out to Victoria and M and the Prees. Like you mentioned about the song prior to this one, M's voice is like sweet, high, angelic. And then you have Victoria kind of rooting it down so it doesn't come across as too juvenile or too, saccharine, sweet and syrupy. So they sounded so good together. And it's just, the texture. I love the high-low combo for sure. But compliments aside, I have to say that the sustained repetitively is not my favorite. I feel like it's just okay as like a melodic. It's not melodic. It's just very much just like, I guess, haunting. But
I think I kind of like it if you think about it as just a layer of the chorus where it's just kind of starting it off and then kind of the lines kind of are in front of that.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. And I think it's also interesting. So actually on the recording, it's Mel B doing the pre with Emma, but when they performed it, it was Victoria. So
I'm comparing the dang live version to the. See, that's how much I like the live version a little bit more than the sound recording.
Yeah. So. Again, Simon Ellis, those band arrangements, man. So good. But yeah, so I give this one a 9.5 out of 10. How about you?
I give this one an 8.5, actually.
So the final track on Spice is If You Can't Dance. And this was written by the Spice Girls, Richard Stannard and Matt Rowe. And it includes a sample of the Humpty Dance by Digital Underground and also a sample of It's Just Begun by the Jimmy Castor Bunch. And this funky track features a Spanish rap from Jerry. And it's about how you got to keep your standards high when you meet people. Because if you can't dance, you can't do nothing for me. Go away. Yes.
Go away.
Because I relate to that, honestly. Anyway, I think this is an awesome example of a song that does not need to follow a structure. This whole kind of pop formula, verse, chorus, you know? They don't really do that with this song. It's like chorus, then rap, then chorus, then pre-chorus. Like it's just like all over the place, which I like that. And so, I think it's just, again, just shows kind of their artistry, just something kind of a little different from them.
Right.
And I think it was a cool choice to use those two samples together. Like, I think they did a pretty good job of it. So what did you think?
I think because I do know we all know Humpty Dance. Rest in peace, Humpty. You know, he died.
Oh.
Yeah. So, rest in peace to Humpty. But speaking of, Humpty was like, I like my oatmeal lumpy, and this song was not giving me lumps. It wasn't giving me like umps. It didn't give me bumps in the trunk. It didn't give me nothing really. No offense. It's just like because I know the song and because the womb, it wombs. The way the music was just it pulses. I did not get that. It didn't match the energy completely for me. I feel like they could have punched it a little bit more. Just give it a little bit more spice and a little less cool. Especially if they're saying, yo, if you can't dance, get out of my face. Like it doesn't. But the live version, going back to Istanbul and Queen Ursula's crown.
Yes.
Honey, I can't say nothing about that. That one gives me what I need. And I wish it was translated on this, the recording. And this song, this song reminds me of the first song I've ever written. And I can tell you that I remember the first song I've ever written. Literally, the song was called, and it's absolutely a terrible title, You're Too Slow for My Beat. It's absolutely freaking cringeworthy. But it encompassed the same thing. It's like, if you can't dance, don't come near me. Don't even talk to me. I can't do anything with you.
I do want to play you. Listen to the If You Can't Dance demo.
Okay. Just listening to the demo just now. It had a little bit more kick. Granted, the rap was still too cool for school after a while. It still gave me a little bit more oomph. I felt a little bit of lump in my oatmeal just now. I felt it.
Yeah, I agree. It's interesting because these demos leaked a few years ago. And I remember hearing this and I was like, whoa, like I actually prefer this version. I think like some of the changes that they ended up making were not like they actually made the song a little worse, which I thought was interesting because they opened their 98 tour with this. And that was one of my first concerts. This song just gives me good memories. So that does bump it up in that sense. But I would much rather listen to the live version. Yeah. So, yeah.
One thing I will say about the vocal production as well is that like Jerry's low harmony in the chorus is so dry. It's like, if you can't dance, if you can't dance, if you can't. I was like, oh, it is dry. I mean, I think you mentioned it's maybe supposed to sound robotic.
I think maybe it's supposed to sound kind of robotic with all these layers, and it's kind of all Jerry really layered on top of herself. So I think it's supposed to be kind of like, if you can't dance,
Get it. But I mean, I wish they would have maybe layered that vocal a little bit more so that it wouldn't sound so just if you can't dance, if you can't dance, if you can't dance, if you can't dance. It's just like what? It maybe a little bit more stacks would have made it sound a little bit more smooth, but still kept that cold robotic thing. It was just not as smooth as I would have hoped it to be. But aside from that, they definitely put on a good show when they perform it. So
yes, I also want to say I think it's really funny because I was reading about Jerry's rap. Like I was trying to look for a translation, and apparently it's actually like horrific grammar and doesn't really make any sense. So I just find that extra funny because I was like, oh, she's so confident. She's going on.
And
that's
like,
actually
I mucho Te vi el otro día, me dio mucho, mucho alegría. I was like, girl, what?
Yeah, so I just think that's
Oh,
hilarious. That it actually
yeah.
makes no sense. And it just makes Jerry even more endearing, I think. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. Do you think she still remembers it?
so they did perform this at their last tour, but unfortunately she lip synced to this verse.
Oh,
Yeah. So I guess the confidence is gone for this verse.
oh man. You know what? I do miss a little bit of that, that kick.
The
I do miss it.
feistiness.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah, totally. Even her Union Jack dress was like a long gown,
Mhm.
So that aside, I do have to actually give this song an 8.5. It wasn't the strongest. And considering other closers on their albums, this one is not like my fave,
Mhm.
but it did what it needed to do, you know. What
I will
about you?
also give it an 8.5. If you had to cut a song from this album, what would you cut?
Oh God, I was groaning before you even said it. Dang it. Um, you know, that's tough. Just for the grand scheme of it all, I would more than likely just cut Mama. It's not a bad song, but just for the whole album, this one seems mildly out of place. What about you? With cutting, what
This
song would
is
you cut?
very, very tough because I
Oh, yeah.
genuinely love all of these songs.
Mhm.
But oh my gosh. Okay, I think I have to cut Last Time Lover, I think. I think I just have the least connection to that one. Yeah.
Ah, okay, got it, got
And
it,
it's
got
and it
it.
is a little bit too like TLC, I think. Like it's
Mm,
not unique, I think, compared to the rest of the album. So
in regards to keeping the song, and I mean, when I mean keeping, y'all, it means that which song is not the obvious choice? Like, which song would you keep on this album to show someone, like, hey, they have more than what you see presented in front of you with singles and whatnot.
mhm.
So, that being said, the song that I would actually keep on this album is Love Thang. Oh, Love Thing. Let me say it without the A. Love Thing. I think the back and forth between Mel B and Jerry is just so much fun. And I think this kind of tug of war is what makes them kind of iconic. And maybe tug of war is not the best word because it sounds a little confrontational, but
Mhm.
the call and response between them, it just makes for good synergy, makes for good performances. And it makes me really miss Jerry on that Forever album because there were certain moments where Mel B needs someone to kind of give her that crap back, vocally.
Mhm.
And Jerry may not have been the strongest vocalist, but she had punchiness. And that's what Mel, it's tough. It's fabulous. The whole back and forth is great. Their voices are salt and pepper, savory, and full of kick. And that's all I got to say about that.
Okay.
What song would you keep?
All right. So Say You'll Be There, like I said, is like my absolute favorite. But if we're talking
Yeah.
in the context of like what would I showcase from this album to someone who isn't as big a fan, I would
Yeah.
actually choose something kind of funny. I
Oh.
think it's very funky and it's very fun. And I think it does show a very different side to them that isn't
Mhm.
present in their singles.
So my overall thoughts about the album is that for a debut album, this is a solid body of work. Right off the bat, first album, first project, first everything, they made themselves known. So overall, probably best debut album from a girl group for like past couple of years. I don't know if I've had a girl group that I've really liked this much.
Mhm.
That had a good body of work for that first album. What about you? What are your overall thoughts?
I think is just one of the best girl group albums of all time. Well, the best
Yeah.
pop albums of all time,
Yeah.
honestly. I think
It's
every
good.
single song stands on its own. There's no
Mm.
filler here.
Yes,
Honestly, like every single
that's it.
song stands on its own. It's unique. You can
Mhm.
hear the thought and the effort that was put into the writing, into the production of it. And
Mhm.
it really is it shows such a great breadth of topics
Yeah.
and just different things that they were going through as young women. And so
Mhm.
yeah, it's the whole album. I have to give it a 10 out of 10, like as a whole. Yeah. How about you?
You didn't average your scores this time.
No.
Oh, no average.
If I could have given every song a 10, I would have. Let's be real. I was just trying to be like as critical and objective as I possibly could. But let's be real. Every song is a 10.
Respect, man. Respect. Oh, okay. I will give this album A. Oh, this is hard because I did have like some critiques that I feel like, oh, all right, overall, considering everything I've said, about lasting impact as well and being able to make a brand for themselves, like right out the gate, I will give this whole project a 10.
Yes. All right. So let us know what you all think about Spice Girls, Spice, their debut album. What are your favorite songs? What are your least favorite songs? What critiques do you have? We're very interested in hearing your thoughts. So let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stuff from us. This is not the last of the Spice content. We really appreciate all the awesome feedback we've gotten on the Spice stuff we've done so far. So planning on doing the solo stuff. We're planning on doing everything we possibly can. Until next time, that's Jan.
That's Chris.
And we are CCTV. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, ready? Nope.
All right. Are you having fun? And you have it. No, I'm not. I'm not.
Not anymore.